Welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about faith, family, and kids. Today I'm going to be talking about my egg donation experience and the journey I've been on with it. I started in an egg donation program in March of 2019. I didn't get matched with the family until November of 2019, I believe, and it's kind of been a process. Maybe it was even October. It's just been a really long process for me. I'm not going to say that it's going to be a long process for you. So as a disclaimer, I just wanted to say that I'm not a medical professional, so nothing I say is something that you should take in place of what your doctor has for you or what your program has set for you. So I want to talk first about why I'm even doing egg donation. I've always kind of loved the opportunity to give back, whether it was with my community or just with my local church, or whether it was nationwide, international things. So giving back to me is kind of fun. I just love any opportunity to give back. So when I heard of an opportunity to give back in a category that was really another passion of mine, that's kids, I was super excited. So I looked into it some more, and honestly the YouTube videos that I saw were really just do the injections hurt? Which, I mean, that's a very valid thing to look up if you're going to go into doing egg donation. But I mean, that's not the main point, and there's just so much more to it. So I wanted to go through the whole process today. It's just an amazing opportunity to help somebody out, and really it's a blessing. It's an honor to be able to do. When you get matched, you have you have an appointment that you go to that kind of just lets them know where you're at on all things. They just kind of look at your health in general. They take blood work, they do genetic testing. I actually found out through doing this egg donation process that I'm a carrier for cystic fibrosis. So that was actually really good to know. It wasn't something that I would have thought to look up myself. So being a part of this egg donation process allowed me to find that out, and we tested my husband. Thankfully, he's not a carrier, so we're good to go there. But if he had been and I didn't know, that would be a whole nother thing. So super thankful that I got that genetic testing. So it's honestly kind of a bonus in a way that you get that, because those tests are pretty expensive. After you get your genetic testing results back, they can move forward with the process. In my case, because I had results that were showing I was a carrier for cystic fibrosis, they had to test the intended parent's husband just to make sure that he wasn't a carrier either, and then we could move forward. So that took some time. It happened to fall around Christmas time, which is kind of a crazy time, so it took longer than normal. But we started the process back again in January. So January, my doctor had me on birth control. Now, I had never taken birth control before this egg donation process. So my body reacted not well. I was nauseous. Every day I had to take it, and when I first was prescribed the birth control, I was told that it was just to make sure I didn't get pregnant. I did not realize there was another purpose in the birth control, and I wasn't told that. So when I'm taking a pill that's making me nauseous, there are just other ways that I can make sure I'm not gonna get pregnant, you know what I mean? So I stopped taking it. It was making me sick, and I would take it occasionally, just to help out, I guess. I didn't really know what I was doing. Well, they did some blood work on me after they found out that the husband was not a carrier for CF, and which, by the way, if both mom and dad are a carrier, there's 1 in 4 chance that the child's gonna have cystic. So that's why they had to do the testing. Just wanted to throw that in there. But once we found out that he wasn't a carrier, I went in for blood work, and then she was like, I guess she could see that I had stopped taking the birth control because of where I was in my cycle. So she was like, you need to be taking that every day, because now we have to kind of start over, and it's really just like to make sure you don't get cysts and make sure like we can control your cycle. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, yes ma'am, I will take it every day. Like, so sorry. I actually tried to get a lower dose of birth control because the first dose they gave me was like really high, I guess, for my body, because I had never taken it before. And they were like, we can prescribe you a lower dose. The first time I got birth control, it was free. And then I went to go get this lower dose around Christmas time, and it was like $65. I was like, you know what? I will take the nausea. I will take it. So I just dealt with it, and eventually my body got used to it. And it really helps to take it at night. So if you are on the same page as me, take it at night before you go to bed, and hopefully your body will kind of adjust to it as you sleep. That worked for me. So once I got back on the birth control, they could kind of start the process. So she had me go in for blood work again, just to see where I was after about 3 weeks of taking the birth control every day. And she said, okay, we're good to go. We can set up a treatment schedule. So for the treatment schedule, basically, I started injecting with a medication that was to, the way she described it, she said it basically sends a message to your brain that this medication is in control of the cycle now. I think that's kind of how she put it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys kind of just the injection process, and I will not actually be injecting myself at this time, and I'll explain that later. So one thing I just have to say is that I bruise really easily, and it kind of scared me when I first started taking these injections. You can bruise at the site, but it has helped me to make sure that I am injecting at a 90-degree angle to my body, because I think I was going at maybe like a 45. I was just kind of like trying to look at what I was doing and not thinking about the angle, and I think that may have like broken up some of the capillaries there and caused the bruising. The shot itself does not hurt if you do it right. If you do it wrong, you'll know, because it will hurt a little bit. So definitely make sure that you are watching any instructional videos that your program may have or the fertility clinic may have, or if you have any questions, just make sure that you are not relying only on what I show you today and tell you today, but what your doctor says. So definitely double check with your doctor. Another important thing to remember is your alcohol pads. So they give you like a bunch of these in your pack, and please use one every time. And I've noticed that like a couple of them, if I open it up and it is dry, then there's somehow air got in there. Do not use it. Like, obviously don't use the dry one. Make sure it's wet with the solution when you do it. Now when you put it on, you need to make sure that it does dry before you actually inject. That just helps with the stinging. So what I normally do is at first I didn't do this. I used to like put this on first and then let it dry while I prep the needle. But then like I wasn't exactly sure where I had put this. Like I knew a general area, but I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that whatever area I'm injecting myself with is sterile. So definitely use these. But anyways, what I do now is I just do the needle first. So, in this particular medication, they have the needles already preset with the shorter needle. A lot of times when you are injecting yourself with medication for egg donation or even IVF, you're going to be like mixing medications, and I might do another video on that, but for right now I'm just going to show you this simple one. The mixing one, there's a lot involved. You have to like mix the solution with water, you're using long needles, and you do that for both medications, and then you mix it again together, and then you inject, and so it's a lot. This one is simple. I just kind of want to get the basic process down. I do recommend that you wash your hands before you do this as well. It just helps with the sterility of it. Is that a word? Sterility? Did I just make up a word? I don't even know. Okay. Here's our needle. This is the cap for it. This is how big the needle is. It looks large, but like honestly, this is small compared to the other needles that they put in there. I will show an injection eventually. So yeah, this is just one of the injections in the process. It's the very first one you'll take, and then there's like a whole nother process that we'll be covering in next week's video. So I'm excited next week to talk about the rest of the process. If you want to be an egg donor, look for your local fertility clinic. They will often have programs, or you can just Google national programs as well. I do recommend being a part of a national program just because it will allow you more opportunity to help other people. In my case, I even got to travel several states away to do my cycle, so I would definitely recommend doing a national one if you can. A lot of times they just like work through different fertility clinics. Alright, so once I started injecting myself with the first injection, I had a period of about a week and a half, and then I went in for my first ultrasound just to see how everything was going, and they told me that for some reason my follicle broke through the birth control. I'm not 100% sure what all that means, but they did tell me to stop taking the injection for the weekend, go in for my ultrasound on Monday, and then see if they're going to have to restart me, which will set me back 7 days. So I was supposed to be flying out at the end of this week to go for my egg retrieval, but if we have to be set back, then it's going to be like another 7 days at least of them like trying to reset the cycle. So it has definitely been a process so far. We've hit some bumps in the road, and I'm just hoping that we can get this figured out. Stick with me, and I will talk next week kind of about what happened, what we have to do for the egg cycle, and everything like that. Thanks so much for watching. I will see y'all next week.